This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Well, we're on holidays, but we know that you are podcast thirsty.
Oh, yes.
You know who is thirsty for this show and is really upset that we're on break?
Yeah.
Hello, Harry.
Do you mean change at the desk in front of you guys, forced to watch you guys each day?
Yeah. Pretty
Forced.
a little bit.
Did you hear that word? Forced.
Well,
You've
yeah.
never been happier, Harry, but we thought seeing as you get the front row seat, you can choose what's in this podcast. What do you reckon?
I've got some of the best. I got the first pick, by the way.
So there's nothing in this?
There's the best.
Gonna be dead air.
So there's heaps left for the rest to choose from.
So much left.
There is some great stuff. Hope you guys are having a great holiday, by the way.
Enjoy your
Thanks,
son,
guys.
Harry.
Rich kids, hey?
Oh,
Bloody rich
Don't
kids.
know any.
hell, mate.
I mean, when we were growing
We're
up,
povos.
there was always a rich kid you knew, whether it was a primary school or a high school or maybe even university, someone that had it all and they didn't realise.
Well,
But our level of
sometimes
richness-
they did.
Our level of richness isn't like today's richness. Like a level of richness back then was someone who had a pool.
Yes. Or stairs in their house.
Their parents had two cars.
I had friends that... No, the level of richness to me back then was people that had a door on
Door
their
on the
bedroom.
Pretty low base.
No, my dad, they've got hinge money.
For me, it was someone whose mum didn't make their clothes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty
yes.
crazy.
God.
So the rental shortage is so dire, a generous father has brought a house for his 3 kids to share after they couldn't find another one on offer.
So this is in Sydney, eh?
Yes, a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom terrace house at 89 Underwood Street, Paddington. It's sold.
Paddington.
It's sold for $3.81 million.
Nearly $4 million.
No
So-
off-street parking either, by the way.
Dad's bought it for them because the kids couldn't find a rental.
Yep. So the 2 sons and a daughter, they've been fruitlessly searching for a rental property in the same area. They could not find one. So he decided that, you know what, they're all in their 20s. I'm going to help them out. I'll buy you a house. They're all moving in. That's their new share house.
Sounds like
Really a $4
Dad
million
was
pad.
absolutely terrified they're all going to move home again, is what that sounds like to me.
Okay, yeah. But that is amazing.
But he's just got $4 million to drop on a house. I mean, also fancy area. Maybe just move to a slightly less fancy area,
No, you
kids.
couldn't do that now. That's ridiculous.
So one day we were at uni with my friend's friend. Her name was Hannah. She was a lovely girl. And then she said, "Hey, guys, what are you doing now?" Because we had a bit of a break in class. And we went, "Oh, no, nothing much. We didn't have anything on for about 4 or 5 hours." She goes, "Oh, come with me. My mum and dad have just texted me this address." She didn't know what was going on. So we all jump in the car and we go to Jollymont, just up there, Jersey Street.
Yep.
And we pull into this address and there's these 2 beautiful, beautiful 3-story townhouses, like absolutely
brand
gorgeous,
new?
brand new, and like architecturally done, not off the plan. And we've gone, wow, what is your parents? Is this their new place? And then her parents come out and said, "No, we've bought this for you, Hannah." And then the next week, Hannah says, "Hey guys, what are you doing? We've got a day off uni. Yeah, we can swing it. Why? Oh, my parents have given me, I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000. Let's go buy some furniture."
Oh.
So they gave her all the money to go. So we went.
That's not IKEA, is it?
Did you ride past
No.
her house
No.
every second night and throw a brick through the window?
But then again, you know, to be honest, at the time that Aztec material was in,
Yeah.
so all of her stuff had that
So
weird Mexican.
sucked in.
Mexican material.
That was a moment, wasn't it?
It was a moment.
At my school, like, you know, when everybody starts to turn 17 and some of the parents will buy them a car, but it was a little banged up, you know, Corolla and
Yeah.
little Ford Lasers were all in little, you know, Datsun 180Bs and
all the
stuff.
time.
There was a girl in our school whose father owned a car yard and she turned up to school in a brand new, shiny, convertible MG. What? And we're all just like it might as well have been a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Like it was just
it would have been
so far ahead of what everybody else was driving.
Like everyone else has got like a pram wheel on it.
Pretty much, like, you know, different coloured door.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Do you have
it was
a
such a beautiful car.
rich kid story?
Well, really, it's kid Lachlan's age, my oldest's age, because these days things, the richness
It's
in Perth
elevated,
is
yeah.
just elevated. So they went to a private school, these boys, but to go down south, they get a helicopter. So their property and Wildwood Road. I
I'm
think
sorry,
it is,
you've got
Wildwood
the
Road.
You've got the wrong music here, Harry. Actually, sorry.
They would
Keep going, Sean.
They would get an Airwolf and they'd just go down there. And this is the best part. And there's a whole heap of people in WA, because I get to go to Rodo. To go from down south to Rodo is like 42 minutes or something. So they could go from their property in Wildwood Road to Rotto and land there. Then there's like a golf buggy that they can take and they go straight to the pub. Have a few beers.
It's like, I'm thirsty, let's go to the pub. So they go from Margaret River to Rottnest.
How much is helicopter petrol?
Great question.
Do they go on
I would say it's definitely.
I know that some helicopters can run on unleaded. I know that.
It'd have to be 98.
I know
Have
that.
to be 98.
Yeah,
mate.
that'd be the good stuff. I know that because of I put that stuff in my head for the apocalypse, just in case I find a helicopter.
You think you're going to fly a helicopter?
Well, I mean, it looks pretty
It's
easy.
just a joystick.
To be honest, it looks pretty easy. You
pedals
turn
and
it
a
on. You turn it
Okay, good
on.
luck.
You get the propeller happening, and then you just go up. Then it's just left, right, then down and park break, and you're done.
So what about getting a helicopter to your holiday
That's
house?
madness.
And then to Rottnest?
Yeah. For
Harry,
lunch.
have we found out?
What's the price
Have you
of
been
what do you-
Googling what
What do you put in the helicopter?
fuel.
helicopter fuel?
$4.50 to $7 per gallon. Let's have a look here.
Per gallon.
Gallon.
Is that
Australia,
2.2
please, mate.
litres?
Oh, you wanted Australian? You should have said.
Well, where are we? Are you serious? Sometimes, mate.
$420 an hour.
What, for fuel?
Yeah.
We'll get back to you with the helicopter fuel prices. I know that everyone needs to know. Hi, Caroline.
Good morning, guys.
Hi,
Hey.
sweetheart. So we all have known a rich kid in our life. What's your rich kid story?
Okay, so I went to a private school which had a lot of international students.
Yep.
So there were a lot of rich kids at our school. The best one, though, was two brothers that used to come to school in their Mercedes compressors. So they were driving to school in cars that were way better than what the teachers were driving.
Yes. And did they have one each?
Yeah, they had one each. I think from memory, one had a red one and one had a black one.
Yeah.
So they weren't even carpooling.
No. And also because where we were, you actually had to pay for a parking permit as well. And they had a parking permit in, like, the closest zone to the school.
It went them two, then the principal.
That's the real kicker
Pretty
there,
much.
Caroline.
And the thing was that they always used to rock up to school wearing, like, instead of the school mandatory backpack, like Louis Vuitton satchels instead of the backpack. And they were forever getting in trouble for it, but they really just did not care.
Yeah, they would have
Of
just paid someone off, probably.
Yeah. Every time a teacher told them off, they had a new teacher the next week. It was so strange.
Well, that teacher got $1,000. Thanks, Caroline. Paul's in Balcatta. Hello.
Hey, how you going?
Hey,
Good,
Paul.
What did the rich kid get, Paul?
Oh, I grew up in the KGB, so everybody was a rich kid for us. But the measure of a rich kid was their shoes.
Yes.
So there was one brother and sister who always got new shoes, and the best shoes at the time were Reebok pumps.
Yes.
I remember.
They were great.
And they always had a couple of pairs.
Mate.
So
Yeah, they're loaded. They're
You know
loaded,
what?
Paul.
I worked for so long to buy my
Yeah.
first pair of Reebok pump, and the worst was I worked at the surf shop, and Sports Lock was right next door. So
you were taunted by
I knew
them.
the Reebok pump were a wall away, and then once I got them, there was already a sort of a rule in place at school that you couldn't pump them up and release the air in class because it disturbed the teachers, because everyone would be going.
Did you ever join the team with the Reebok pump?
I know I got a pair of
Got them.
Reebok pumps.
Yeah. He just worked for them, you know.
I worked hard. I
He
worked
worked-
hard.
They weren't gifted to him.
Worked hard in the mines as a kid selling surf
Thank you,
clothes.
Paul, for the Reebok
Paul?
pump memories.
I would imagine those kids would have been lucky to wear those shoes for many more weeks because people would have been trying to rip them off their feet, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Not back then. It wasn't a big thing now.
Yeah, you
But
just.
nowadays they probably would.
Yeah. Paul, what shoes were you wearing, Paul, at the time of the Reebok pump kids?
Just the basic bets,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just some
black, just plain black,
Yeah.
something from
like
Betts.
church shoes.
Yeah. That's not great, Paul.
Love you. Thank you.
and his church shoes.
Michelle, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Great, Michelle. Now, what does the rich kid get, Michelle?
Well, I was a personal assistant to one of the richest men in Perth, which will be
Sean
remain
McManus.
unnamed. And I used to come to work and get different tasks every day. And one day he rolled up with his son and he said, I have a blank check for you for $65,000. It's signed. He's just turned 16. He would like a car. Can you take him shopping?
Oh, my God,
At
Michelle.
16, he can't even drive it yet.
I know. I had to drive it, but we got to pick it and he got to put on all the, the little bits and bobs
Yes.
that he wanted on it. But I was just, some of the things I had to do, I was
Yes.
just like, wow, this one has topped it for me. In the
Michelle.
10 years I was there.
65 grand.
What sort of car did he
disgusting.
get?
He ended up getting one of those Nissan dual cab utes,
Yep.
Oh.
Oh.
like a black one
Oh,
with,
they're called
all the
Navaras,
trim.
yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this kid and his lifestyle ever put anything tool-like in the back of that ute?
No.
He's got very soft hands.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
In Melbourne, there's this plumber who goes by the name Haz, and he was put onto a job by a neighbour who said that a family friend of his had no running hot water.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, that is a job for a plumber.
yeah, and he couldn't get it fixed, and he was going through some difficult times. So Haz was put in contact with him, contacted the bloke, and and then heard what he said was the biggest sob story he's ever heard from the bloke.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to go there and help.
Yeah. So then he went, you know what, mate? You're going through it rough at the moment. He goes, I will not charge you for any labour. I'm just going to charge you for parts.
Okay.
Which was a whole lot of copper piping. So
Really nice,
it was
mate.
$700 instead of going to be $3,000 to $4,000.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an amazing offer.
Amazing
Yes.
offer.
Good work, Haz.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was a really lovely feeling for him until it came for to be payment, and then there was some issues. I'll get into what happened with that. But Haz, because he didn't get paid, he decided to take things into his own hands and go under this guy's house and sort out the problem himself.
This is a quick example of what happens when you don't pay the bill. Look, I wouldn't do this to just anyone. This guy had plenty of time to pay the bill, and at the end of it, I found he brought me to his house with the intention of not paying. So this is what he deserves. He actually sends me a message saying to come and take my work, thinking I wasn't. Lol, bada bing, bada boom.
So he's
So
taking the copper pipe.
He's
which is
under
worth
the
a lot.
house,
Under the house.
taking back everything that he had installed.
Yep.
Yeah, because the
Cut it
guy
all
never
out.
paid for it.
So
Yeah.
this is what's happened, right? So he's agreed to do this deal with this guy, $700 just for labour,
Yeah,
right?
no,
And
just for parts,
Just for
just
parts,
for the
just for
equipment,
parts.
yeah,
No
yeah.
labour cost, right? So this guy goes, yeah, no worries. Then in the meantime, while he's waiting to get paid, the guy said, I've got a problem with my oven, so he goes and pays for his, goes and fixes his oven as well. Then the guy that he did the favour for ends up contacting him and said, can I get an invoice for the $4,000 job? And then Haz said, no, you can't, because then I'll get taxed on that.
That's
I have
right.
to invoice you for what you what you
But
paid.
I'm only doing it, yeah.
Yes.
Which was the $700. And the guy goes, well, no. He goes, I don't want that invoice. I want to be invoiced for the $4,000. He goes, why? And he goes, because my insurance company will pay for it. And he goes, well, if your insurance company's going to pay you $4,000, why aren't you just getting your insurance company
Yes.
to pay me to do the job? And then the guy goes, oh, and now you're putting up the price. And he goes, I'm not putting up the price.
The price remains
The
the
price
same.
remains $700, but you're not getting an invoice for $4,000. So this is why the guy ended up refusing to pay. And
So he wasn't
It
his
actually
money
makes no
anyway.
sense.
yes.
But you're going to have to pay an excess, right? So if it was $4,000, then you would pay, let's say, $500 excess. But he's talking about paying $700.
Yes.
But he wants a receipt
Yes.
for $4,000.
He would have been
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
He wants to.
Unless his
he wants
excess is
to.
higher.
Yeah, he
But
wants
yeah.
to do something dodgy with the insurance company
Yes.
by saying that I got charged this much and gets the insurance back instead of just getting the insurance to contact the plumber and them do it themselves.
Yes, and also he's asking the plumber
Yes,
to
to do something
falsify
dodgy.
invoices, which is fraud.
I mean, who would do
That's
that?
fraud. That's insurance fraud.
Yeah.
Sean.
Anyway,
Insurance fraud,
No,
Sean.
no, not in my eyes.
this is in Sean.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Exactly.
Well, actually, you know what? That was a good point. Anyway, all these other tradies had jumped on board.
Yes.
And they're saying, this is what they're saying, right? That so many comments. The amount of times I've tried to be kind to people doing jobs cheap and they just end up screwing you over. It's rough. Another one, I'm a tradie and I find that people with sob stories that you end up doing a solid for with the price are usually the most difficult to deal with afterwards and with their demands, expectations and payments. Imagine that. You have done someone a favour.
Yes, you've
And-
cut your price.
Yes,
or you've
because
come
of the
after hours.
situation they're in. You've
Yeah.
given some. You're being a kind-hearted, generous person, and that person screws you
He's
over.
ungrateful.
Yeah. I've heard people ask for, and this is recently, a guy asking a tradie to pay cash and
Yes.
to do one in their own time, so to speak, and then they wanted a receipt.
You don't get a receipt for a cashy. That's
don't.
That's
What
the
you
point of it.
doing?
That's why it's called a cashy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're upset because the price changes.
Yes.
If you want one.
Yes. Because if there's a receipt, they have to charge you GST.
Well, Jared's giving us a call. Good morning, Jared.
Good morning.
Hey, Jared. All right, firstly, we need a favour. No.
What sort of business are you in, Jared?
So I'm a pestie.
Yeah, okay.
And I copped a phone call from a lady on a Friday arvo, and she's bawling her eyes out. She's got active termites in her roof. They're in her floor. Her house has got to fall over. Bawling her eyes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explained to me that her dad had passed away, and it was his house. She doesn't know what to do. She's got minimal money. She's worried about the house and her kids. So I went and did about just under $3,500 worth of work on a Saturday.
Whoa, Jared. Good on you, mate.
Build her materials only, did no labour, spent a whole day there, and had to pay my offsider as well, so he paid his wages for the day.
Oh, that's really nice of you, Jared.
For her to not pay her bill. Basically contacted her. She just completely ghosted us. Did some homework on her, did some Facebook stalking, and found out that, one, she has no kids. It was actually her house, and she was the head purchasing officer for one of the biggest mining companies and had a portfolio of $4.5 million.
No! Jared!
Jared, did you contact that mining company then? Are you allowed to? What's the deal with that? If someone does something bad in life, can you contact someone's work?
Why not harass them in their workplace?
We, it got pretty nasty. We tried to, go down the legal avenue, but it's a really hard avenue and it's just more expense to us. So sometimes you're better off cutting the loss. But when I put something on Facebook for the suburb that she was in and had quite a few other tradies contact me, and she had done it to Sparky, she'd done it to Chippies, and it was her thing. She, got tradies in on the intention of never actually paying.
Jared, can I ask you, does that change the way you are now doing people favours? Because this is the worst thing. People like this will ruin it for anyone that actually is in need and you could do something nice for. Has it changed the way you deal with that?
Look, I still, to be honest, I think I'm a little bit too nice. I still, do things for people nice and, look after them. But I got to admit, I do Google them and do some homework on them first now.
Yeah.
But I just think there's always going to be, negative people out there, and stick with the
bad
positives.
karma on her.
Hey, that lady's at a big mining company, she said. What about hitting up their website and writing stuff on it about her?
I really wanted to, but at the time we had a tender with that mining company, so I was really scared that if I got up her and her being the purchasing manager, if I would lose my tender.
Yeah. And Sean, Natalie's right, Karma. Karma is my boyfriend. Karma's a cat purring on my lap.
That's right, you know that. And Jared, is it okay to take just a box of termites around and re-release them into her ceiling?
Yeah, exactly.
Some starving termites.
I hummed and hard on taking her a jerry can and a packet of matches. But,
No. Collect a whole bag of termites, right? A whole thing of termites, and then every day just dangle a bit of wood there so they can't get it.
Really hungry.
And then they're like just starving. And then as soon as they get to the wood, they go.
I don't know, we're ideas people, obviously.
That's the worst part with my trade. I can't go and
take it back. Yes, exactly. You're a good guy, Jared. Don't stop doing that. Taylor's in Ellenbrook. Hello.
Hello, hey guys.
Hi, Taylor.
Are you a tradie as well?
I am. This one's a tradie to tradie though.
Oh, okay. What happened?
So I'm a night tradie and we work closely with other companies, and this guy's come in and sort of like, someone's like stolen all my tools out of my ute. Like I can't go to my next job. So I've lent him my tools because we're regularly on jobs together, and he's just flown to Geraldton and taken all my tools with him.
What?
And left the company and never come back.
You lent him your tools, so he took them permanently
and moved to Geraldton.
And how much worth of tools, Taylor?
Oh, like easily $500.
Oh.
Like just was like the main stuff. We loaned the little bits and pieces, but like
what a jerk!
That's bring him back like in 2 days' time. Like I'll see you here. Literally.
And then it just shot through with no intention of returning them.
So you know exactly where he is. Have you contacted him? He's just ghosted you and cut all ties.
I've contacted like his company, my company, because he's left that company. Like they can't contact him anymore either. So like,
you know why? He's probably in the Bahamas holidaying on your tour money.
Exactly. Still wearing his belt
Taylor,
around.
what a stitch up. Trading.
No tools because he sold them all to get to the Bahamas.
It hurts when it's someone on your side.
Oh, yeah.
You got to the Bahamas on the $500 worth of tools? Okay, good.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
We're talking about businesses that from the outset it looks like they just don't care. Hello, Barbie.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Barbie. What sort of business did you encounter? Tell us about it.
Okay, so we wanted to get ourselves a lotto ticket. We were feeling a bit lucky and we had a look to see who would be open. We Googled to see who's still open, went to a news agency and they were not open. And feeling disappointed and then also having to rush to find somewhere else,
Yes.
I left a Google review just saying I can't comment on the service because we didn't get any because it wasn't open when it was advertised as being open.
Oh, Barbie, that's a bit of a barb.
Hurtful, Barbie.
Barbie,
Hurtful.
I've never met anyone that's left a Google review, so
No.
I am excited about this.
Well, 2.5 weeks later, late on a Saturday night, I got a reply from the owner that said, "Screw you, we don't need you."
They don't
Consequently,
care.
I haven't been there. I've never shopped there. I have never shopped there
Well, then
because
I'm
I've
trying.
never been there before.
You know how they're still open? Because they don't need you.
I know. Do you know, sometimes I just stand there and look at it.
I refuse to go in.
I do. I thought I might go in, pick up a whole heap of stuff and then walk out and say, "Oh, screw you, I don't need you."
Yes.
I didn't. I don't. I'm not that person.
You want to
I
be
just
like in
shop
Pretty
elsewhere.
Woman, go back with all your a whole lot of
Purchases,
magazines
yeah.
that you bought somewhere else and say, big mistake, huge. That's what you want to do.
Good, Barbie.
Brilliant work. Thanks, Barbie. Kylie, hello.
Yeah, hey.
Morning,
All right,
Kylie.
Kylie, have you encountered a business that doesn't care?
Oh, yeah. I was down at Frio Market, one of the markets down there in the food court area.
Yep.
And back in the day before you were staring into your mobile phone, I was just waiting for someone looking around, observing everything.
Yeah.
And I see the kebab shop guy, he's run out of meat, so out the back he goes, comes back out with a new big stick, kind of, the slab of meat that they put on the rotisserie there.
Yeah.
On the way back, his phone rings, so he's got to take the call, right?
Yeah.
Where else does he chuck the big slab of meat but on top of one of the rubbish bins? I know it was not plastic wrap, it wasn't cut anything, just this raw chunk of meat straight on top of the bin, takes his call, and then finishes up and toddles back over and puts it up ready for lunch.
Oh, no!
Kylie.
Oh,
That's an absolute cracker. Oh, that's so good.
No amount of garlic sauce is going to kill that.
Believe my eyes.
You know what? No one would have known.
No, he's about to cook it for, I don't know, they cook those
He's
things for
fine,
ages.
But it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I love that, in fact, that he did not care who was watching him do it.
No, didn't even think twice that he's raw meat.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.